Yes, we are live. Welcome. Welcome, everyone who is going to be watching us live. We are live on YouTube and we are live on the Krisullis Earth Matters podcast today. I have a very special guest, someone who I believe is part of my soul family and my mentor, someone that I look up to. Dr. Raj, so before we get into conversation, would you like to say hi to everyone watching in?
Yes, hi everyone who's listening. It is a pleasure to be on this podcast with Caroline. She is quite a leader in women's empowerment around the world, and I look forward to sharing my thoughts on this subject with all of you. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you for that. And before we get into conversation with Dr. Raj, I'd like to build a context about the chrysalis and what the chrysalis is all about. Um, so the chrysalis, it comes from a Greek word, which is the chrysalis, the space where the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, goes through all of these physical, physiological, energetic changes, and emerges as a beautiful butterfly. And the reason why we chose this word and this energy is because we realized that with the work that we chose to do back in 2020 with our communities, initially in Nigeria, training them around financial literacy, economic empowerment, we started to see the significance of transformation through guidance, through mentorship, by providing them the right tools and information. And so Chrysalis felt like, the most suitable and most aligned word to what we were trying to do through this facilitation. Um, this podcast has been on and been live for over a year now, and we have guests with. It's never a random guest. People that I believe align with the core values of transformation, with the core values of sovereignty, empowerment, the work that we have done, and really to give them a stage so that they can share the kind of work that they have been doing, why they do it, and really to invite you in so that you can also connect with them offline and find out more. So on that note, Dr. Raj, we're very, very happy, very honored to have you today. I know that it's very early in the morning, so thank you for making the time for us on this live podcast.
You're
Before
welcome.
we get into unpacking some of the stuff, I would love to know a little bit about your background because I know that while you work in the background, it's also important for people to know who you are. So, would you like to share?
Thank you, Caroline. Uh, I grew up in a small village in South India, and since my parents stressed the value of education, they got me into a convent school in a big town close to that village. Uh, and from there on, the influence of the Jesuit priests and nuns who taught me, and then the three people in my life who just transformed and shaped it are my mother, my father, and my grandmother. And they gave me the values of always emphasizing education and sharing whatever knowledge I have with others. Second value is faith in God, utter faith in God that everything He does is for the good, but you do your best. And the third is giving back to society, because without society, we all cannot do the things we do. So we have to give back. And those values were imparted to me at a very young age when I was in elementary school. And those values really have charted my life, both in India and in the US. And I came to US in 1970 for higher studies and tried to go back in 73 after my PhD, but people told me I was too qualified for the situation there. So go back and do what you do in the US. So I came back, and since then, I've been very successful in the US and giving back to India and now to Africa and in my local community of Chicago. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think this dovetails quite naturally into, something that I believe is important for the context of today's conversation is you talked about core values. And, personally, that's something that's very important for me. I had to learn it on my own. And probably also learn it the hard way. And I think that, that's really been like a compass, an inner compass for me when making decisions, small and big decisions for my life. And it kind of changed the trajectory of a lot of things because while our core values don't change, they're timeless. They kind of also shake things up in a way that there will be certain things, people that will not align with us. So in that regard, and you shared such a powerful, beautiful story about the people who have influenced you. How did how did your journey of shifting countries, your education, your married life, because I know you've always brought your wife into conversation whenever we have spoken, your family, so you're a family man. How has all of this led you into doing this work of sustainability? What's been that journey like?
Yeah, and I came to the US. My father's dream was that I get the highest degree I can in the field of engineering. So I had to work very hard, but I got my PhD. And then either I could go to teaching or in consulting and working on projects around the world. So I chose consulting. And I have been a consultant for the last 50 plus years. And the thing I love about consulting is the clients I deal with from different backgrounds who want some problem to be solved and getting that solution to their problem and seeing the smile on their faces and something's done to benefit people. That has really driven me from you know project to project to achieve my full potential. And that is where my wife has been an inspiration. And when I was taking a long time to finish my PhD, she said, I am here for you. That's it. So although it took me 3 4 years to finish my thesis, get my degree, she was there typing my thesis for me. And I have a wonderful daughter who, right from the beginning, I told her, you can do anything boys can do, but you can do it better. So be confident, just go for what you want. And with God's grace and her hard work, she's now a very successful lawyer in California, helping a lot of women and against fraud and abuse that happens in the US government. But her most prized moments are twice a month when she helps battered women and women who don't have any place to go, give them advice, give them self-confidence that the situation will be better, the legal avenues are available, and I'm here to help. So that kind of value that I passed on to her, that she has to help others, is what makes me very proud of being a family man who has passed on values to the next generation.
I'm smiling so wide right now because we've never really talked about these nuances and these details of some of the decisions of why this is important for you so personally and so intimately. And I'm smiling because now I see so much resonance. For me, my story was personal. When I started Viva in 2015, our women's community back in Bangalore, which has now got about 250 women in the community, um, it came and it originated because of my adversity, because of my story, because of the way I saw myself and the identity that I had adopted based on limiting beliefs. And I'm so proud of you as a father, because I think a parent's role is so important for children. And in the context of what we're talking about, for girls, little young girls growing up, the kind of identity that a girl adopts is from her parents, and the narrative that is handed over to her, not just explicitly, like the kind of powerful things, their declarations, what you have just shared with your daughter, but also with modeling. This is such a powerful reflection of the kind of family that y'all have nurtured, the culture of respect, of reverence, of courage, of, speaking your truth. These are all things that come through. And I had to learn this the hard way. I don't have any regrets. I think we all come into a lifetime with certain, experiences, and then we have the opportunity to evolve, right? We have the opportunity to go through certain challenges and rise above them. And this is something that I'm very proud of. I had to go through those things, started a community, provided a safe space for women to know that they're not alone, and that they can help each other, they can lean on each other. But ultimately it's all of us that have to make our own choices, and facilitating that through mentorship, through coaching, through community, through these kind of stories that we share. We inspire one another, we grow, and our consciousness grows. All of that to say, I am really happy about our project. And let me just sort of, it's not a digression, but it's really an addition to this context. The project that we are working on and that you have been mentoring us. We've got 4 countries in Africa that are involved in the 100 young African women who will go through a STEAM program. And, I am so grateful for your mentorship, your leadership, your hand in this, because hearing your backstory of how valuable and how important you see a woman's role, not just in society and with community, but with herself, right? Because if we work on ourselves, then we become these role models for more young women to do likewise and be likewise. So on that note, I would be so happy if you could share more about some of the volunteering that you have mentioned. Tell us more about those initiatives that you have been actively involved in.
Thank you, Caroline. I wrote my first book in 2005 based on my career in the mining industry. I saw different parts of the world being destroyed by improper mining. So, my first book was Sustainable Mining Practices, a global perspective. I brought case studies from all over the world to show that mining can be done, to take resources that we need, but not destroy the earth for others. Leave a better legacy than where we found it. So that has been my driving goal. The United Nations defined sustainability as doing things what you need for your present generation without hurting the prospects of the future generations. So that is sustainability. And sustainable development cannot happen unless it is by the community, for the community, with women taking leadership. Because women understand the importance of education for their children, importance of having a stable home for the children, and being the nurturing people the women are. They have to be involved because their perspective on development, equitable development, is all very, very important to have a sustainable development program in any community. So with that, I got the opportunity in 2007 to join Engineers Without Borders in the US. They had a chapter in Chicago. I joined it. And since that time, I've seen the number of projects EWB has done around the world to provide clean water and sanitation to communities, solar power, building schools. And the main thing that drives all this is because women in a community are responsible for getting the water for their family. They walk 2 miles, 3 miles sometimes, carrying some pots of water on their head or buckets of water. That is not the way to live in the 21st century. When technology is available, money is available to make that water accessible in their homes so that they can lead their life properly with a healthy source of water right in their home, and they can devote their time for development of their children and the community. So these water and sanitation projects that EWB has done around the world, and I have the opportunity to mentor a lot of young student chapters in the US. We have 250 student chapters around the US and about 50 professional chapters. And these professional chapters mentor the students, guide the students, and defining the needs of a community, planning how to satisfy the need, design the proper solution, and implement it, and make sure the community becomes a stakeholder. They run with it and they maintain it, they operate it. That is the philosophy of EWB USA. And that has been a great source of several opportunities for me to go beyond my professional life in engineering consulting to understanding and empathizing with the needs of communities in Central America and Africa and India. So that is an opportunity that has been amazing for me, and I continue to give back as much as possible. As now I'm a leader at the Chicago chapter, mentor other young engineers to do the same. The second opportunity I got was to head Pratham USA. Pratham is a wonderful organization, started in 1995 in Mumbai, India, by a visionary who felt that without proper elementary education of all citizens in a country or all citizens of the world, you cannot have any development or equity in this world. So he started Pratham in the slums of Mumbai to get education to these kids who don't have an opportunity to go to school, proper traditional schools. So when I saw that work and what they are doing for women empowerment, they have a program called Second Chance, where they see many girls in India drop out because after puberty, school systems are not equipped to help them, give them facilities to go with dignity to school, so they drop out. So the Second Chance gives these girls a chance to study at their own home, at their own pace, with training tools given by Pratham, and they have achieved amazing things. There are stories and stories again of women who have achieved amazing things. And then the third thing they do is vocational skilling. And this is one thing which I want to spread it worldwide, because they work with industry. They work with the employers and say, what do you want? They say, oh, employers say, we want this. They say, okay, we will give you trained people. And they focus on poorest people in rural communities, in slum areas, many girls, many boys, who with some training, they come back to their full potential. And they have done so many wonderful things. I'll tell you a story in a few minutes about two women who have succeeded so well. I brought them to the US to talk to my donors at a fundraising gala. And when my audience heard those women talk about how Pratham had changed their lives, these vocational skills they got, my donors just doubled their donations. And so this is the kind of thing Pratham has done. And now Pratham has started Pratham International since last year to expand their wonderful work from India to Africa. and to other parts of the world. So this is another opportunity I got to lead a chapter of Pratham USA in Chicago. We collect almost $20 million every year to send to programs in India. And I had the very big opportunity of leading a chapter and raising almost $900,000 in 5 years from 2010 to 2015, 2014. And then I handed it over to the team I put together. And since then, they have been raising in the last few years close to $1 million every year right in Chicago. And combined with what we raise in Chicago from New York, Houston, Seattle, we raised $20+ million to educate poor kids in India and many women to be empowered to be their best. And the third thing that has really helped me is mentoring a young woman in Kenya. Her name is Elizabeth Juma. In 2002, I'm very active in the Lions Club here in Oak Brook, which is the international headquarters. And I encouraged this community in Kenya called the Vima Bukembe Development Organization to start a club in their area called the Lions Club of Bungoma. And when it was started and Elizabeth took the leadership, I said, I want to mentor you. She said, I'd be glad to work with you, help you, get help from you. So since then, last year and a half has been a fantastic journey of empowering the community through Elizabeth and telling her to go and see some of the other wonderful projects that I know of, where I've had some involvement in India for women's empowerment. She went there, came back, and has replicated it so wonderfully in her community in Bukembe. Now her soccer programs for girls is a hit all over her community. Girls who never played soccer are now playing soccer, and through soccer getting how to be a team worker, a leader in her community. And this is the kind that happens once you light one torch. That torch just can light millions of torches. And that is what Elizabeth is doing in Kenya. And that is another opportunity I got through EWB to doing water and sanitation in the community. And through that, I said, why not start a Lions Club? Because one of my friends in Kenya said, there's a Lions Club, in this area, they really need it. Can you help? I just talked to the community. They took leadership, and Elizabeth is now a wonderful leader. In the last year and a half, she has gained so much in her self-confidence and in imparting that self-confidence to others in her community. And now she's working with Pratham International to do vocational skilling for women in Kenya, in her community, and then spread to other parts of Kenya. So this is the kind of things that God has given me, these opportunities. And I am so fortunate that these kinds of volunteer things I do, that's what makes me happy within. All the rest is just dressing. All the money you earn, the things you do, all that is superfluous. The core thing is how through volunteering you can give back and change the lives of communities and people.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing all of that. It's so inspiring, and I'm very optimistic about the program that we are doing, primarily because everything that you just shared, I believe there's so much of opportunity to create many more Liz Jumas. I've had the privilege and opportunity to meet Liz through you, and the courage that she brings, the dignity that she carries herself with, is testament of self belief and being able to develop oneself and grow oneself, and through that be able to honor her god given gifts and talents. Because all of these life structures, you talked about the material realm, like money and all of these other things, I think they are an outcome of just the quality of our inner being. and being able to honor what our purpose is, because each one of us, I believe, comes with a purpose. And it's through these kind of, sharings that when the word goes out, we start to resonate and feel inspired and think, wow, I love that story. I love what Dr. Raj is doing. I love what Liz is doing. And one way of looking at it is, how can this inspire me to go do it wherever I am? Two is to ask the question, is there some way that I can get involved with the kind of projects that they're already leading, in their space? And three is to be a part of something bigger, because there's a lot, it has a beautiful, powerful ripple effect, these kind of, projects. And I'm very excited for the future because, the stories that you share, the kind of things that uh, you are facilitating, surely they have had an impact on your growth. And I would be curious on this in this conversation to know, as you reflect back on the years that you have chosen to be a part of, EWB, to Lions Club, to Pratham, to Vima, what have been some of the ways that it has changed you, it has upgraded you as a human being?
Oh, that's a wonderful question, Caroline. Again, although I'm retired for the last 10, no, 15 years from active consulting, I still get up at 5 a.m. every morning. And till I go to bed at around 9:30 or so, my life is full of excitement. What can I do for others? I have so many nonprofits I work with in India who are working on employability of youth, on improving the water situation, on improving agriculture, on improving just healthcare for poor communities. That my life is just full of constant thinking as to what I can do, how I can connect people in India with people in Africa, people in the US with people in other places, and how this synergy can bring about more change in more people's lives. Because for me, if I see another person smile and do better in life because of my intervention, I feel blessed. I don't expect anything from the person I give, because the satisfaction I get from doing this is just not describable at all. So, the things that, there's a couple of stories I'll tell you. When I told you about Pratham fundraising gala I did in Chicago, I had two women come to talk to the audience. One woman said, my parents were very, very poor. And when we moved from one city to around slums of Mumbai, my parents would say, oh, go find something to do. So I would go and pick up some plastic and other things from the garbage dumps. And I just be dirty by the end of the day, feel bad and all that. Then I heard of Pratham, and I told them I want to be something better than what I'm doing now. They said, what do you really want to do? I said, I like to be pretty and look other women look pretty. I want to be a beautician. They said, sure, join our program. And what I was doing at Pratham USA is raising money for such people to pay their fees to get them into the Pratham program. And after a 3-month course in the beauty, as a beautician training, she started her own beauty clinic now, beauty studio. And now she has written a book, guidebook for a woman to become entrepreneurs in the beauty industry, which is written in 14 languages in India, translated into 14 languages. And this woman who was working and a big garbage dump picking things up. Because of the opportunity Pratham gave, is now a self-confident woman who got up on stage in front of 300 wealthy people in Chicago and said, "This is what I have come from, where I've come to where I am now. And now I feel proud to empower women and make them entrepreneurs, starting their own beauty studios." Another woman from the slums, she's a Muslim woman who was not allowed to work outside home by her husband. She said, "Okay, if I can." She heard about Pratham. She said, "Can I take some of these kids you're teaching to my home? Can they come? And I can teach them. I'm only 10th or 11th grade, but I can teach them elementary school." So Pratham gave her the opportunity. And slowly she gained more confidence. And now, after about 15 years with Pratham, she has gotten her PhD in Urdu, and she is the national leader for Pratham in teaching the Urdu language to people all over India. She's invited by people in Pakistan. "Hey, you teach kids so well. Come and share it with us." So she is such a wonderful. Her kids now are in engineering school and aspiring to be their best. When I had them here in Chicago, hosted them for about 3-4 days, had them meet some donors of mine and talk at this gala, I thanked them for their courage, for helping me raise more money for doing more of this kind of work that Pratham is doing. And so these stories just stay with you forever. That seeing these women empowered to be their best. So it doesn't matter where you start from. You just need a rung of opportunity. And if you get that helping hand, you can be whatever you want to be. That is what I have thrown it in my own life, because I come from a small village. And then when I teach the kids in Vima in STEM subjects, which they have not had exposure to, I took my book called Climate Change and Environment. I said, "I'm going to teach these kids." Liz said, "Go ahead." So I taught these kids, and these kids took so much interest in this that they started their own environmental club. Now they are planting trees, encouraging other people in the community to plant trees. They have built their own greenhouse. It was their idea to do it. I just provided some funding. They built their greenhouse. Now they're going to grow their own vegetables. This is what self-confidence does. This is what education does. And so I'm so proud that this book that I wrote, thinking, who's going to read it? Now I taught it to some college students in India through Zoom, but teaching these high school kids and middle school kids was a pleasure, because they immediately translated my talks into action in their community. And they have grown. They have high hopes now. They dream big now. So this is the kind of thing that it has allowed me to do. Because otherwise I'd write books and say, let me go on to the next book. No, I want to share what's in that book with others. And this is where these opportunities, I just thank God every day for giving me new opportunities. I don't know what door of opportunity will open for me. Tomorrow, whom will I meet? Whom can I share my knowledge, my contacts with, so that they can grow? So these are the ways all this has changed me as a person who cares for the community and living my grandmother's dream. She said, service to humanity is service to God. Remember that throughout your life. She told me when I was 7 years old. And I'm so thankful that I could live her advice and dream of serving humanity wherever I can, in whatever capacity I can.
How lovely. I feel the legacy living on through you, and just the pride of, sharing that story, the dream about your grandmother, but also being able to pass it on verbally, in written form, teaching, mentoring, and just your energy as well. This is something that I've always felt with you. I did tell you that you are born around the same time that my grandfather was born. And I see a lot of those great qualities in you, the the abundance mentality towards working towards pushing humanity in the right direction, facilitating that, and just the heart. I think it's the genuine heart that really comes through whenever I have spoken with you. And yeah, it brings me so much joy to know, when we have these kind of conversations, regardless of whether they are live or just one on one, to know and feel into more of your soul purpose, but also where your heart is. I'm sure there'll be others who would love to reach out to you. So Doc, how do people reach out to you? Let's say they want to get in touch with you, they want to know more. What would be a good way to connect with you?
My email, I'll check it every day many times, is rrajaram510 at gmail.com.
I'm just
And
putting that down.
yes.
Yeah. Any other way that you'd
And my
like people to
WhatsApp
reach
number
out
is
to you?
1-630-915-6176. And I'm very prompt in responding to people. And if I cannot help, I will connect them with somebody who can help. And that's what I had the opportunity during many years in the US to help young people from India who'd come and start their masters. And then when they are finishing, they say, how do I find a job? What do I do? I have worked very hard to get a good grade and all that. I said, grades are one thing, but meeting people, networking is very, very important. So then I will open my, contact list and say, you are in this field. Okay, try these people. Even if they're from a field I don't know, I say, this friend of mine is in that field. Give him a shot. Now I can write him a note to help you. So like that, helping whoever comes, saying, if I can share my knowledge, that's what it's all about. And one phrase in the Hindu philosophy has been my guiding light is there's only one humanity. One God exists in every human being. It doesn't matter what religion, faith, color, creed, all that. It's just superficial dressing. What the core of each human being is a soul that is potentially divine. Swami Vivekananda said that. And that divinity of that soul has to be brought out. And if we can see that oneness in everyone, that is the vision I want to leave with every one of you. That we are not different. We all have the same aspirations. And if we can do our best every day, then you will reach your full potential.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very, very powerful and such a powerful way to close loop this, because I was going to ask you if there was a message, and it seems like it's in the ether. You've sort of picked it up from what I was thinking. I think it's a very powerful way to close. Um, Doc, I truly want to thank you for your time today, for showing up, for being present, for practicing integrity, leadership, courage, intention, faith, reverence. These are things that I see in you very clearly. And yeah, I'm very proud to know a human being like you. And thank you so much for being on this podcast with us.
Caroline, one thing for a young person like you, thinking of others and spreading the word and working in Africa and India to do women's empowerment, I'm very, very proud of you. You continue this, and I'm here for you anytime. And God is with you all the way. Okay?
Likewise, thank you so much for that. And for everyone watching in, we have shared contact information if you would like to know more about the work that Dr. Raj is involved with, whether it's in Africa or India. If you want to get involved, if you want to donate, if you know, or you want to start your own project that will sustain, uh, we have left those details on for you. Thank you so much for watching this and being on this journey with us. We look forward to our next episode, the Krisullis Earth Matters podcast. Thank you for your time, and we hope
Thank
to
you.
see you soon. Thank you so much.